All right, hello, hello. This is Ridge 6 coming to you from Orbituary Station in Pyro. With 4.1.1, an awesome new update came out where we can actually quantum jump to our own ships, which is great. And so with this, I am going to set up a deep space mining base, I guess, using my C2 and use my prospector to jump back and forth. So first up, I need to load up my C2. I am going to put the Nursa and a few other things in the C2 first. I'm going to take the Razor as a little back and forth ship, I think. And then I am going to load up a few other things, as you'll see here. So first of all, I positioned the C2 near the freight elevator, dropped the ramps, and then took a moment to load up the Nursa first, which is going to be nice to have out in deep space. And then loaded up the Razor, which I'm going to use to go back and forth as needed. I might do that differently in the future. We'll find out if it works well. I have this 2SU box loaded up with some mining supplies and food, and then of course I'm bringing along a leather chair. So here are a bunch of mole mining bags that I pulled off of my mole, and I'll be taking them with me. I have my prospector set up with mole bags, and so we'll have a whole bunch of extra empty mole bags on the C2. So there we go, all loaded up. Bunch of mole bags that are empty, a Razor, and a Nursa, as well as a 2SU box with some supplies and a chair. So with all of this, my plan is to take the prospector out into deep space and mine some moons around Pyro 5, jumping back and forth until all these bags are full. Alright, I have jumped to an area a ways out from Pyro 5. I like mining the moons around Pyro 5. So, as you can see here on this map, I've decided to drop out of Quantum quite a ways. Oh, man. Okay, there we go. Quite a ways from Pyro 5, but I'm in close enough proximity that it's not going to take a long time to jump back and forth with the prospector. And now, I need to go get the prospector. One way to do this, I guess, could be to just backspace back to Orbituary. But I'm going to play it immersive here and actually take the Razor. So I'm going to jump the Razor back to Orbituary Station now and pick up the prospector. And hopefully it works so that I can then jump with the prospector right back here to the C2. Now, even though I'm out in the middle of space, I'm going to go ahead and close the ramp to the C2. I think it's ridiculously unlikely that a player would come across my C2, but when in Pyro, play it safe, I guess. I don't know. Just feels more secure to leave the ship closed up than to leave the ramp down. There we go. All right, back to the Razor. All right, I'm gonna move away from the C2 just a little bit, and let's check to see if we can see the C2 on the map. That would be a good, yeah, there it is. And if I click on it, it does look like I will be able to route to it, so that's good news. Let's jump back to our obituary station and go get the prospector. Back to beautiful Bloom. That's one of the reasons I choose to live at Obituary, is Bloom is beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and store the Razor. And actually, while that is happening, I am going to show you a fun feature of my hangar. I have my C8R parked over here in the corner. And it's nice because just leaving it there, I'm able to get some medical care and have a hospital bed right here in my hangar. And when, I can also set my regeneration to this bed, and so how it should work is if I die, I would respawn right here in the hangar instead. There's my beautiful Prospector. I love this ship. Now I've already got this set up with 4 mole bags to give me more capacity. I also have it set up with a Helix 1 mining laser, as well as a Ryger C3 and a Focus module. So, good setup. I love this ship, and I love the paint that I have on this right now. The blue and the white is awesome. if I zoom out, hopefully, whoa, too far. There's the C2. Yep, C2. Is it gonna let me just, yep. Nice, it works. This is such a game changer. Be able to jump to your own ship like this. Oh, nice. This is so great. Alright, coming up on the C2. Nice. Okay, so we're about 10 clicks out, it looks like. Jumps you into about 10 kilometers from your ship. And it works. This is going to be so great. This gives us the ability to have a big ship out here in deep space like this to use as a mobile base. I know that some of my org mates are planning to use things like the Idris or Polaris as a deep space base. My biggest ships right now are the C2 and the Cat, and the C2 works great for this. For me right now as a solo player and a miner, I could also do the exact same thing with my Vulture and salvaging and just load it up with RMC. Alright. I'm gonna head over to the C2 real quick and set my spawn point on the Nursa, which I don't think I did yet. And also grab some supplies out of the crate. I have mining gadgets in the box. I like the Bormax and the Sabir. I've used the Optimax as well. It works for a lot of things, but it's just so much more expensive than the others, and I don't feel that you actually get a huge advantage from the Optimax. I think the Bormax is probably the best one, but the Sabir is also really great. Alright, set my regeneration here to the Nursa just in case things do not go well while I'm mining. And see, I've got some extra supplies in here and some mining gadgets and a lot of crews. Yeah, if I double click that, notice it equips it on the bottom of my backpack. Alright. This is awesome. So cool. Back to the Prospector. Alright, I've got the C2 all closed up, and I'm going to head over near Pyro 5, and I'm going to go to Adir, or Adder, however it's pronounced. Adir. There's Pyro 5. My plan here is to just fly down to the surface. I think there's only a couple of points of interest, so I'm just going to fly down to the surface. It takes a minute to do this, but it's worth it because at the point of interests, that's where you're going to have a higher chance of running into players. If you just fly down from space, it takes a couple of minutes, but you are going to be somewhere where there aren't going to be any other players. And in Pyro, that's important. It's important in Stanton too, but seems to be a little more important in Pyro. Be careful when you're coming in like this though, that you do not come in too fast. like to level off like that and then settle in. Alright, we are all filled up, 4 full mole bags, and time to head back to the C2. So like I was saying, my plan with this is to mine and go back and forth to the C2 with the prospector. Okay, looks like the C2 is on the other side of the moon, so I should just be able to, oh there it is, click on it, route to it, and let's see if it will jump me around the moon like it would for any other quantum marker. Yes, giving me an OM.
Quantum travel complete.
Nice, this is so convenient. Alright, we'll jump back to the C2 and I'll explain what I'm doing.
Quantum travel engaged.
Alright, back at the C2 now. My plan is to park the prospector here near the back ramp, drop the ramp down, pull the full bags off the prospector, switch them out for empty bags, and continue that process until I have filled up all of the mole bags that I brought with me. And then I'll leave the prospector here and take the C2 back to station, full of bags. Alright, unlock ship ports. There we go. That will let me pull the mole bags off this ship. First, I'm going to go open the ramp. There we go, ramp coming down. So now I'm just going to pull off these bags that are full of ore. I think I'll just leave them right here for now, so I can make room once I pull out 4 empty ones. There we go. Easy as that. Now, there's 4 empty ones over here on the right. I'll just put these out just outside the ship for now. There we go, last one. 4 empty bags. And now I'll bring these full bags in and set them where the empty ones were. Alright, last one. 4 bags inside. I think I'll just put all the full ones over here on the right, keep the empty ones on the left until they're all full. So now I need to put new bags on the prospector, which is going to be super simple and easy. Just like that. All right, last one. And there we go. Okay, just need to lock the ports in the Prospector. All right, Prospector's all locked up. Just leave it there in space next to the C2. And that works great. I'm super happy with that. So awesome. This is going to work very well. All right, well, thanks for watching. I hope that this was enjoyable, or maybe you learned some new things with this new patch 4.1.1. I think this is a great quality of life improvement where we can jump to our own ship and allows us the ability to treat our big ship deep in space as our own personal base, which is great. I think it can work well for groups. It can work well for solo players. I'm going to use it for both mining and salvage. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and follow along.